This photo won't exist on my phone or online or in a hard drive. This is going to be the only copy that exists. Kind of neat. So look, Instant is definitely having a moment of late. I can't say exactly why that is, but my guess would be that people are taking too many photos but not creating anything of meaning. Some people just dig analog, others it's about enjoying the moment rather than the final results. What this video is an exploration of the different instant cameras on the market, different styles, different paper formats, different options essentially. It's not a specs showdown, it's not a versus battle. I am going to run you through the pluses and minuses of the different options, and at the end I'll give you my thoughts on which kind of camera is best likely to suit your different needs.
No matter what camera you're shooting with, check out my brand new course, Intimate Home Portraits. It features 5 models and shows you how to create sensual, professional images in everyday spaces, like your own home or a hotel room. I've spent over 15 years working with models, teaching thousands of photographers and shooting in every environment imaginable. This course brings all of that together. Here we have no studio, no big budget, just real connection, posing direction, lighting and angles to deliver creative results. Check it out, full details are below. The Non's SL660 feels like a proper camera. You look through the lens, focus manually, set your aperture. It's tactile, mechanical, and deliberate. The reward is that medium format kind of vibe on an INSTAX square film format. But it's heavy, and the metering isn't always reliable. It's not a quick snapper, it's more for people who want that vintage experience and want to enjoy slowing down and treating their instant film a little bit more seriously. The SL645 brings that same kind of SLR experience, but in a smaller, more portable body, and for me, the silver finish is really nice. It's easier to carry, and the INSTAX minifilm keeps cost down, but the prints are tiny, and you don't see all the detail that you've worked for. So for me, it's kind of a catch-22 because I don't really like the mini format. Still, it's a fun way to get that analog shooting feel without lugging around the bigger SL660. So I just stepped outside because it's quite dark in there and I needed to be at like a quarter of a second to get an exposure. Because you need to manually eject the film on these, it should be quite easy to do multiple exposures. So I might do a half exposure of the dragon, then go in and do a half exposure of the blurred out lights from the ceiling, and then see how the two of them stack together. First one is a dragon face. I went for soft focus on the lights and about a half exposure on each. The INSTAX Wide Evo is a bit of a love it or hate it camera. On one hand, it's versatile. You shoot digitally, pick your favorites, and print them on the large wide format paper. It's got filters, effects, and rechargeable batteries. On the other hand, it isn't truly analog and it really doesn't feel like it. Shooting off a screen totally changes the vibe, and in hard sun, it's kinda hard to see. For a lot of people, I think they're going to feel that it loses that spontaneous instant magic. But I, for one, love it for its flexibility. The Instax Square XQ1 is instant photography at its simplest. One button, square prints, it's lightweight and it's affordable. It's perfect for parties or casual fun, but it's real bare bones. It's fixed focus, plastic build, no creative control. You could say that that simplicity is both its strength and its limitation. The Mini 41 is cheap, cheerful, and dare I say it, stylish. Auto exposure, selfie mode, tiny prints, it's designed for fun. The photos aren't that sharp, but that's kind of the charm. It's the kind of camera that you bring to a party, pass it around, and enjoy it without worrying too much about perfection. The i2 is Polaroid's flagship, and it does feel kind of premium. It's got sharper glass, lighter autofocus, manual controls. I'd say it's the most advanced Polaroid yet, but it's expensive, kinda heavy, and Polaroid film is still unpredictable. That's the paradox. It's the sharpest Polaroid ever made, but it's still a Polaroid. Magical, imperfect, and costly. I'm not sure that I would go for this guy. The Leica SOFORT 2 is all about style. Leica design, hybrid shooting, Bluetooth printing from your phone. It's premium, well-built, and fun. But it's pricey compared to Fujifilm's offerings, and ultimately it's limited by the same INSTAX film. It's more about the Leica halo effect than any groundbreaking specs, but it does bring similar versatility as the EVO in a much smaller package, and that's going to appeal to a lot of people. The Mint SLR670X is like stepping into a time machine. It's a classic X70 rebuilt with modern controls, with that beautiful folding design and manual exposure. It's beautiful but a little delicate, slow, and to be honest, very expensive. This camera is not for beginners. It's for people who already loved Polaroid quirks but want the ultimate experience, both in analog, tactile experience and aesthetics. You'll want to get the more expensive 600 film for this guy because it has no internal battery. The INSTANTKON RF70 is a beast. It shoots Instax wide with a tiny, reasonable quality lens and rangefinder focusing via a tiny cutout hidden below the main viewfinder, giving you the most detailed Instax prints out there arguably. It's big, boxy, and it does take time to master. It's also not discreet. But if you want instant film to look and kind of feel and experience as close to medium format as possible, this is the one. It really does make you feel like you're shooting an old Makina. I, for one, love the folding design, and I found the metering more consistent than the modern fancy Polaroid I-2.
Look, instant, even beyond normal film, it does change your behavior. You're really thinking about the shot because you get one shot at it, and then the thing is printed and the paper's kind of expensive. But there's some kind of community aspect to it that you don't have with other things, because people do lean in as it starts to print. People want to see the results. Not that I'm doing this for attention, but every time I've been out shooting with this one in particular, I get people coming up to me telling me how cool the camera is, what is it, wanting to check it out basically. And that is a nice little getting to know you icebreaker. And it seems people really enjoy getting shots from these. So it has been nice shooting with these guys. As a professional using digital, this sounds like a cop-out, but I think it's really true that with these guys, imperfection is the point. The fact that each shot is going to be slightly different, even if you do everything else the same, is what people love about it. The fact that you're creating something unique on each frame that you only have one of, there is something quite cool about that. But just keep in mind, there are things that these are really going to struggle with. Essentially, any moving subjects, sport, that kind of thing, and anything that has too big of a dynamic range. The paper just can't hold bright highlights and dark shadows in one shot. I'd also argue that it's really probably not suitable for most portfolio work, but then some fashion photographers still do include Polaroids and tear sheets in their albums, so depending on the work you're doing, it has a kitsch appeal.
And now for something completely unique. The Mini Evo Cinema is Fuji's newest playful hybrid, part digital, part instant, with a nod to vintage movie cameras. It shoots short video clips, lets you print still frames, and uses Instax mini film for tiny keepsakes. It's creative and fun, but the video resolution is laughably low and the prints are tiny. It's more of a novelty than a serious tool, but it's perfect for experimenting and playing with quirky memories, and just, it's fun. There's a full video coming on that guy.
So we've been shooting with these guys for a couple of weeks now, and at some point I kind of realized I wasn't trying to make a great picture anymore. I was just trying to enjoy the process and experimenting, which for me feels kind of funny, but for I think a lot of people that will be the appeal. There's two scenarios where I think these kind of things could fit into the kind of work I'm doing. One would be when I'm shooting with a model, to be able to give them a couple of shots at the end of the shoot that they can take home seems to be a popular thing. And secondly, when I'm out traveling and I meet someone, to be able to give them a shot of them or whatever it is I've just taken, again, so they can just take it home with them. It's a kind of a neat keepsake to be able to give it right there and then. Okay folks, we've been shooting with these cameras and a few others that have been returned for weeks now, and honestly, I really did enjoy the process. I wasn't sure how I would go with it, but I liked it from kind of a craft perspective. Obviously, I use modern cameras all the time and I kind of have them down pat. There's not much of a challenge there anymore other than creativity, but technical things came to being an issue again on these. So it was honestly the challenge that I liked. The fact that even on the modern ones, the medium is inconsistent and you have to kind of really work at it. It's difficult to get a great shot on them, was an enjoyable challenge. But it's an expensive one given the price of paper. And no matter which camera you get, keep in mind that your quality is always going to be limited by the paper quality. So even if you send the highest resolution medium format file over to one of these to print, it's still printing on instant paper at the end of the day. But I wanted to run you through my top picks quickly. So in terms of design and enjoyment of use, I would have to choose the Mint SLR 670X0. I just love the folding design. It does work really nicely. I found it works great without needing to use their little time machine thing, but still the image quality it's not amazing, but I really enjoyed the styling and the look of this one. And followed closely of that would be the Mint INSTANTKON RF70. Now you might know that Mint is a Hong Kong brand and think that I'm choosing them because of that. I'm based in Hong Kong, but I actually only just found out they're a Hong Kong brand after I'd finished testing them, and I've not had any contact with the company at all. But if you're watching this, congratulations. I think they're both great. I really like the design of this one. And if I were going to go and buy one for myself, I think this would be the one out of all of them that I would go for. I love the form factor. I love the bigger film stock. I quite like the little rangefinder style. So good job. Nice job on those guys. Now, if you're looking, however, for a true instant where, like both of those are, you take the shot and it just prints, and you want it without the hassle of knowing how to meter or balance your exposure, then honestly I'd recommend just going for one of the Fuji options. Base it off the size of the paper that you want. There's some really inexpensive options there. The image quality is about what you pay for. Now, for going to parties or just people wanting flexibility to be able to like send a photo from their iPhone to the camera to print, then you're not looking at a true instant. You're looking at something like these ones, which are a digital camera with a printer attached, and you can just print the shots that you like, whether you took it on that camera or not. So for parties and that kind of thing, I think the Leica SOFORT is going to appeal to a lot of people. It's pretty expensive, but the interface is great. It's small, it's fun, it's easy to use, and the image quality is quite good. But personally, I prefer the INSTAX Evo Wide. It's considerably bigger, but the paper you get out of it is the giant wide print instead of the compact one, and I just overall prefer that paper stock. But the rear screen is genuinely quite difficult to use if you're shooting outdoors because of the glare, but it's a nice machine. If you're looking for video, then the Mini Evo Cinema camera is really your only option, but it's going to depend if you like how the video simulations look. That's going to be polarizing. So keep an eye on the channel. We're going to have a dedicated video just looking at that guy, showing you all the different video formats that it can create coming up really soon. I would love to hear from you. Are you shooting with instant cameras? What's the appeal to you of using this kind of old technology? And which system are you shooting with? Personally, I'll have links to all the guys that I have tested out here. Thanks to Fuji and thanks to B&H Photo for loaning all the different cameras, as well as Nons for sending out a couple for us to check out. It's been really fun. I think I spent a couple $100 on paper and got half a dozen decent images, as well as of a lot of failures. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Full details below.